If you want to know the secrets of existence and the true meaning of life, I can't help you. But if you want some book recommendations, why not try reading the ones I wrote? If you're a fan of giant monster mayhem and anime weirdness, why not try Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1? If horror is more your style, you can't go wrong with The Occult Mafia. Those who enjoy their fantasy with a dark twist may be interested in Emerald of Maddox City. And if you're interested in shared universes, why not read all three? Hop on down to the description for links to all 3 books on Amazon. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and now that we know that the Playmates Mega Godzilla was an improvement over previous figures, let's see if the 8th wonder of the world measures up in a similar scale. That's right, our next subject is the Mega Kong. The figure is secured to his package in a way that leaves his upper half loose. This allows you to try his action feature while he's still on display. He's a little bit harder to get out than Godzilla, so be careful with the scissors. Once he's out though, he stands easily on his own, as he should. Much like Godzilla's Mega figure, the Mega Kong only stands 2 inches taller than the Giant Kong, but the overall effect makes him appear more massive, which he arguably is. Unlike the giant figure, Mega Kong is not colored in different shades of black and dark gray. Instead, he's different shades of brown, which is more accurate to the film. There are some paint inconsistencies, like the head being a slightly richer shade than the rest of the body, but that discrepancy is very minor. Like Godzilla, that pesky open screwhole problem has once again been solved by plugs, though unlike Godzilla, these ones are precise color matches that blend in almost seamlessly. You'll see them if you get really close, but even at a short distance they're practically invisible. The only visible screw, once again, is the one holding the battery panel closed, but as mentioned with Godzilla, that's unavoidable. There's also a button on Kong's back which is one of 2 ways to activate his light and sound feature. It's rectangular in shape, but unlike the protuberance on the smaller Battle Roar figure, this one blends in just like the plugs do. Articulation is another big difference between the Mega Kong and the Giant Kong. The Mega figure has the advantage, but with one notable exception. You may recall that the Giant Kong figure could only move his arms up and down. Well, the Mega Kong takes its cue from the 6-inch figure and goes for extra articulation. His shoulder joints allow his arms to move in almost any direction imaginable, and you can similarly bend and rotate his elbows. While this still does not allow for him to strike a chest-thumping pose, it does allow for wider posing variety. Mega Kong's head cannot rotate, though given the light feature included, I wouldn't expect it to. The figure compensates for this by including an articulated jaw, making this the only Kong in Playmates line with that feature. When his mouth is closed, we see Kong doing his best impression of a different king. When opened, details are sparse other than his bright red tongue, and the separation from the rest of his head makes it look like he's got a Glasgow grin, which is a little creepy. It's nice to have the option, but it could look better. The waist is able to rotate a certain degree to the left and right, but this is part of what activates the light and sound feature, so movement is limited and his body always recoils back to a neutral forward-facing pose. However, this feature comes at the expense of leg rotation. It feels like a lot of inner workings are located in his lower half, so in order to prevent internal damage, Kong is one solid piece from his stomach to his ankles. It's kinda like what we see with the giant Skull Island figure, only in this case it serves a purpose. Actually, this means Kong has a low center of gravity, and that gives him another advantage over the giant figure. Giant Kong could not stand on his own with his arms extended to the front or back, but Mega Kong's weighted lower half allows for such extensions without throwing him off balance. Alright, now on to the action portion. As said, Mega Kong's light and sound function can be activated one of 2 ways, either by twisting him at the waist, which doubles as a punching move, or by pushing the button on his back. The sound comes through tiny speaker holes in his chest, which are barely visible, and his eyes light up when he roars, like so. I tried getting a good still image of Kong's eyes lit up, I really did. But unlike the bright blue lights that Godzilla has, these red eyes simply refuse to be photographed. I will say that he avoids an issue Godzilla had by not having any painted pupils, so his eyes just glow a solid color. That means no derp eyes, which is a good thing. The feature doesn't last very long though. I count 4 seconds as opposed to 13 total seconds of Godzilla's version, which feels way too quick if you ask me. Now on to the accessories. First and foremost, we have the axe, and it could be better. The handle is a similar brown to Kong's fur, which doesn't make it stand out very much. Some of the red highlights we see in the film would have been nice. The blade, meanwhile, is a huge problem. It looks oddly misshapen, with a blade that's too proportionally short compared to the rest of it. The blue paint, meanwhile, is applied haphazardly on both sides. It's just plain sloppy, there's no two ways about it. Also, and this might just be on the one I got, the longest point on the blade is indented in a way that looks like something happened during shipping. In conclusion, the axe is the weakest aspect here.
But we also get another small soldier. I'll be calling this guy Lysander to go with Demetrius from the previous video.
Lysander is in a semi-neutral pose, both feet on the ground, rifle aimed skyward. He's got just as much detail as Demetrius does, which is to say more than you would expect from something so small, but not enough that he looks like a real person up close. Lysander is not quite to the proper scale of how big Kong and Godzilla are supposed to be in the movie, but that's no big deal to me.
So the Mega Kong has a few detractions, but overall he's still a much nicer figure than the Giant Kong. And thus, he gets another recommendation as a collectible. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off.
If you enjoyed what you just saw, hop on down to the description for links to Patreon, DeviantArt, and all of our social media, as well as links for Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, and Emerald of Maddox City, 3 original novels I think you'll really enjoy. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.